What if I told you that one of the most famous golf courses in America is hiding a secret that most players never even think about? Not in the bunkers, not in the water, but deep inside a small, quiet patch of land known as Tree Island. It looks harmless, even beautiful. Just trees, grass, and silence. But behind that calm surface, there's a story that connects history, design, and a mystery most golfers walk right past without ever knowing. And once you understand it, you'll never look at TPC Sawgrass the same way again. Welcome to TPC Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, home of the legendary Players Championship and one of the most intimidating holes in golf, the 17th Island Green. But today, we're not talking about the Island Green. We're talking about something even more overlooked. A place golfers barely notice as they ride in carts, lining up shots, chasing par. A place locals quietly call Tree Island. On the surface, it's just a cluster of trees surrounded by marshland and carefully sculpted fairways. But its existence is not accidental. It was designed with purpose, hidden with intention, and shaped by one of golf's most strategic minds. The first layer of the secret. To understand Tree Island, you have to understand TPC Sawgrass itself. This course wasn't built to be traditional. It was engineered. Every slope, every water hazard, every sightline is placed to create pressure. Not just physical pressure, but mental pressure. And Tree Island plays a quiet but critical role in that design. It breaks the player's rhythm. It interrupts visibility. It forces decision-making under stress, even before the player reaches the famous finishing holes. Most amateurs don't even realize it. But their brains are already being tested the moment they see it from a distance. Because in golf, what you don't focus on can hurt you more than what you do. And Tree Island is a perfect example of that psychology. Why it's called Tree Island? The name sounds simple, almost too simple. But it's accurate. It's literally a raised patch of land surrounded by low marsh terrain, making it appear like an island of trees floating in a sea of grass and water. From certain angles, especially in early morning fog, it almost disappears into the landscape. And that's where things get interesting. Because longtime caddies at Sawgrass will tell you something unusual. They don't point it out to first-time players. They let them discover it naturally. Why? Because the moment you become aware of Tree Island, it changes how you play the entire course. The hidden history of Tree Island at TPC Sawgrass Golf Digest. The real purpose behind Tree Island. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting. Tree Island wasn't placed at TPC Sawgrass just for beauty. It wasn't random landscaping. It was part of a larger design philosophy created by legendary course architect Pete Dye. Dye was known for one thing above all else. He didn't design courses for comfort. He designed them for confusion, pressure, and decision-making under stress. And Tree Island fits that philosophy perfectly. It acts like a silent checkpoint on the course. Not a hazard you directly play, but a psychological marker that tells your brain one thing: you are not in control here. Even when you're standing in perfect fairway position, Tree Island subtly distorts depth perception. It changes how players read wind, distance, and even confidence. And most golfers don't even realize it's happening. That's the genius of it. The hardest obstacles in golf are never loud. They are quiet, invisible, and mental. Caddy secrets they don't tell visitors. Ask any experienced caddy at TPC Sawgrass, and they'll tell you something surprising. They don't talk much about Tree Island to first-time players, because it can actually affect performance. Once a golfer becomes aware of it, they start second-guessing themselves. They start overreading shots. They start seeing danger where there is none. And that's exactly what makes TPC Sawgrass so dangerous. Not just water hazards, Not just narrow fairways, but the mental trap that builds slowly, hole by hole. Caddies have a phrase for it. If the course is in your head early, it owns your scorecard later. And Tree Island is often the first quiet trigger. It sets the tone. Before the famous 17th island green ever comes into play, the mental pressure has already begun. The final layer of the mystery. But there's one more layer most people miss entirely. Tree Island changes depending on the season. In dry months, it feels visible and grounded. But after heavy rain or early morning mist, it almost vanishes into the marshland. And that illusion is intentional in design philosophy. Because at TPC Sawgrass, nothing is meant to feel stable. Everything shifts. Everything tests your perception. And Tree Island is the quiet reminder of that truth. It's not just part of the landscape. It's part of the psychology. Closing line. So the next time you see TPC Sawgrass on TV, don't just look at the island green. Look beyond it. Because some of the most powerful designs in golf are the ones you barely notice at all.